next area that we want to look at is the call activities feature. So now within Alemba Service Manager, you have the ability within incidents, problems, known errors, major incidents, to actually manage predefined call activity or task lists or ad hoc call or activity lists based upon the type of issue that may be logged. So similar really to that of a request management functionality, but something that's performed more on an ad hoc basis as opposed to following a defined workflow. So again, within the preview features here, if we go to call activity lists, within the system here, we've got 3 predefined call activity lists which are already created. So I have Outlook connection and troubleshooting, connecting to the VPN, and Microsoft Teams sign-in issues. And what you can do is you can add new ones by selecting the plus icon. But if I go into one which is already defined, what you can then do is you can output a number of tasks or activities which the analyst must be born to complete before the actual issue can be resolved itself. So again, giving a tiered structure of resolution or reproducible steps in order to hopefully maximize and your response and resolution targets for your SLAs. So within here, as you can see, we have 8 tasks. We can prompt them to look at whether offline mode is checked, checking the internet connection, restarting Outlook, disabling extensions, should Outlook need to be updated because it's running an older version, recreation of the Outlook profile, corrupt data files, and finally, have they run the repair install itself. Likewise, if we go back to the home page for call activity lists, I can go into the Microsoft Teams, and again, we can pose a tiered structure of questions in order to give the analyst who's working on the relevant issue ways in which they can determine and investigate and diagnose whether there is a potential fix available within the questions that have been posed. So what does this look like again from an analyst perspective? So if we, for example, log a new incident, again, we can insert our user details, we can insert our categorizations. So again, the ASM type tiers in terms of how they're selected has been given a facelift here. So here we've got different types of ways in which we can see the number of subcategories beneath. So if I wanted to see under communication error, it actually tells me now that there's 6 subcategories underneath it. Under handset failure, again, we've got 6 subcategories and so on and so forth. Likewise, you can also type. So if we start typing in any particular keywords, it will then locate any relevant area itself. So if I wanted to select communication error here, I simply select it. I can insert my issue. And then on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see I have call activities. So here, if I knew there were certain steps which needed to take place in order to resolve this sign-in issue, I can go to call activities and I can select from the predefined list that we've just seen within the system administration by selecting the relevant list and adding those activities, and then those would all be added to the list. If we drill into them, we can see the owning officer, and obviously we can change it dependent on what type of issue it is, which group needs to be assigned it, and so on and so forth. We can also add ad hoc tasks to this call activities window as well. So across the top of the screen, I can select add new. I can select who it should be assigned to, so we can select our applicable analyst. We can insert a description and what the relevant action should be, and if, for example, they wanted to close it right out within here, they could do so. Now, in reality, once that's logged, obviously that'd be output to the actual officer or group, and they would then be able to work on the activity. So via the actual menu options, we now have a call activities view. So here we have all the current call activities. Again, we have filter ranges, so we can toggle between all, open, and closed. And again, we can review them. And if, for example, we needed to close them out, by all means, you could do so either within the call activities view or dynamically within the issue record itself.